Well, I think somebody on an earlier panel said we used to commit ourselves to 5-10-year technology horizons for certain platforms, and we're very locked into heavy and expensive contracts, and that's just not the way that we can afford to operate as a business anymore, or want to operate as a business. It's not that they're not the technologies that our talent want to work on. They want to work on open source technologies that are good for their own personal career as well as good for our business. And so that was one of the reasons. The second is obviously just the basic costs and the flexibility that comes with having such a wide array of people who know that technology. On our project, we had developers working on it from 13 different countries right around the world, and that just simply wouldn't be possible with a more proprietary bespoke system and platform. So it was both the flexibility that it gave us, the cost effectiveness, and also the ability to tap talent from all across the world to come and contribute really quickly. The previous CMS platform that we had implemented would take weeks and weeks of training for a journalist to start using. WordPress is obviously so intuitive, they can be up and running within an hour of accessing the system for the first time. So those kinds of differences in the way we use it are so critically important to the overall cost to support and maintain a platform like that that's so core to our business. It was an obvious choice.
Okay. Thank you.
Probably similar in a lot of ways. I think the reason why we wanted to go down the open source path, and we're using a lot of R for modeling and analytics, is there's only so many resources you can hire internally. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And we sort of wanted to tap into that community knowledge that was out there, because it was very easy to pick up things and build on that. The other main reason was energy industry in Australia is very heavily regulated. So any product you buy off the shelf, and I think that's probably echoing your comments, there is a lot of customization we have to do to meet those requirements. And having an open source product meant that the ability to rapidly do it with a lot of speed and execution, as well as not getting locked down to a vendor A or B or C, where each uplift of enhancement, which we've seen in the past, is going to set you back millions and millions.
Besides your typical project 101 that we have to implement every now and then, we looked at simple communications across the teams, and basically what that meant, it was actually simple and continuous communication. So our target was that a message that would go to all our executives in the beginning of a week will be exactly the same message that goes to everyone working on the same project, all 188 people and all our third parties, with a view that if the message is not taken well by any of the sides, that means we're going down the wrong path and we didn't have enough time to correct those actions. So simple communication was at the core of what we did. However, we also encourage honesty and transparency. We could not allow time to go by while we were working on something wrong, or knowing that our capabilities were not being met because someone was running behind. We want them to bring it up so we can all deal with that as a unit. Now, the other thing, achieving such a big task in such a short amount of time, we have asked everyone to think outside the normal square, meaning that we have abruptly looked at partners that can help us to get things across the line, and we engaged them quite fast. We worked on those agreements very fast, while we're actually starting to get capabilities built in different parts of the world. So basically being courageous was something that we also encourage. And lastly, when we built a cloud-based end-to-end wagering business in Dublin, we also looked at the future. We didn't just look at the sunbeds going live in UK and Ireland. We also looked at the next jurisdictions that might be our target moving forward. So a bit of motivation with a bit of trust got us a long way.
Thank you.
I suppose the first thing I would say is you have to have a really cool boss. Someone who believes in abilities for the organization to reach out and sort of do something innovative and different. I would also say the second aspect was it was really important for us when you're dealing with business data that your actual business SMEs who worked in with it day in, day out, whether it was prior projects or new projects, are involved. So what we did was we actually created a center of excellence for information analytics, which had a very good blend of technology SMEs who were the developers, the big data experts, architects, etc. But we augmented that with a lot of key stakeholders from the business. So we sort of seconded them onto the actual project because it's key to build a platform or a program or a project to be successful. You kind of have to build something that the business will use. We were very conscious, so typical projects, we didn't want to build something that would just get rebuilt again and again and again. So I think that was one of the key drivers to augment that. And finally, I think when you go for board approvals for costs, etc., when you want to invest some money into it, it's very important to show that the benefit you get is a factor of 4 or 5 times. And I think the key to that was for us to actually show on an incremental basis, because we use agile methodology to provide business benefits as we kept building. So the aim was, it's a 3-year program, the aim was year 1 you had to set up the platform and provide X amount of dollars back. Year 2 was the real meat, where basically you did that multiplier, and year 3 is basically a bonus. So we sort of had to realize value chain.
And for us, I mean, we're incredibly lucky to have some of the best technology talent in the country working at News Corp. Some of them are here now, and so it's really their perseverance, their talent, their problem solving that got us through all of the barriers that we hit as we were implementing this program. And I think the other thing that our talented team did was hold me and the other stakeholders accountable for prioritisation and continuing to reinforce at every point through the journey that this was a journey, that it was a big, massive piece of change management, and we needed to be consistent and persistent with making it our #1 priority. And so as we went through the program, there were times when the organisation tried to shift focus away, tried to divert the team's attention onto other new priorities, but the team themselves were relentless in ensuring that that didn't happen, and that we all collectively maintained a commitment to this being our #1 priority and getting to the end, getting to the finish line. So we're all very obsessed with having an end point in this program of work and reaching that so that we could all move on to other things. And that, I think, was a really critical success factor.